Hi guys, this is Breaker, and I'm back with another replay that I took from the front page of drop.sc. Ironically enough, this replay happens to be between a former clanmate of mine that we all know as DeeMo in the lower right-hand corner. And now he is a part of a team by the name of lNrGl, but I'll get back to that in just a minute. In the upper left-hand corner, spawning as our blue Zerg, I give you all Kreayshawn. Now, both of these players are at GM level, so we're bound to see some amazing performance in this game, to say the very least. But back to DeeMo for a moment. Well, if I remember the conversation that I had with Tydrokos earlier today in the EXE clan, basically the story is that EXE Dragoon has basically disbanded, even though the channel name still exists on TeamSpeak. At least to the best of my memory, it does. Dire Strait was a huge moral figure to me, but unfortunately he went with the Liquid Jinro route, and that is he quit any prospect. Actually, he didn't. He was never a professional player, but he did play against a bunch of pros on the ladder, and he beat one or two of them here and there. I'm not sure if he was able to do this consistently multiple times. I do know he's beaten great names like In Control. He played against Root Druby back in the day, back in the Wings of Liberty days. Root Cats he also played against. And he did at one point have the title of being the best Zerg in EXE on the NA server. But, I mean, this isn't about EXE's Dire Strait. This is about DeeMo instead, so we're going to just go ahead and focus this replay on him. He is going for what appears to be a kind of a Reaper-ish expo. Yeah, okay, I'm thinking maybe not. I mean, it's a little late. Let's see, is he going to make a Marine? Let's just wait and see. I'm leaning towards saying it could be Reaper. Yeah, he's already got a rally point to his opponent's main, so that basically gives it away. The Reaper has started. And we have a double hatch opener coming from Kreayshawn, as well as a spawning pool. Very standard opener, but it's interesting to note that even at Masters or GM level play on the Taiwan and Korea server, I have seen a lot of players actually go for a pool before hatch opener versus Terran. Kind of interesting, isn't it? First Reaper is out, and wait, whoa, this is like Cat's first hatch. Oh man, Cat's hatch first versus DeeMo. This is, I don't know, the results of this could be pretty bad, and this forces DeeMo to basically stay at home, deal with what's here. And if his opponent actually manages to get a queen out, he's in some big trouble. But considering he's already spent 300 minerals on a hatchery at his opponent's natural, Kreayshawn is just now actually getting his own queen started. And his macro is going to suffer just a teeny bit, but anything he can do to delay his opponent's expo, we're going to have to see who's actually going to hold against this. Now, it's also worth noting that I have no way of knowing who is the victor of this replay, because Kreayshawn actually honestly uploaded a replay of a guy who was on a barcode account, who is also GM player, that I casted just a minute ago as an OSL or GSL, if you will, tryout video for their casting position. And it looks like we got a Marine joining in the mix, so I'm thinking if the hatch here finishes, the Queen certainly will not pop out. Unless we see, of course, some kind of dire mistake from DeeMo. But alas, he's not one to make mistakes like those. He is GM rank 85 on the NA ladder, last I checked. So this kind of puts him on par with some Academy roster pros, if you will. Just a little bit. But for more, I guess you could say more clear, what's the word I'm looking for, comparative purposes, if you will. I want to talk about Hello Kitty SC2. He's on the Fanatics Academy roster, but he's only at Grandmaster. He's at Grandmaster's rank 8, Grandmaster's top 8 on the North American ladder. And Fuser himself was actually once Grandmaster's top 1, so I think really, to some extent, ladder rank really has almost no connection with your career as a StarCraft 2 pro. It's entirely possible that DeeMo could be better than some of the pros on the ladder. I wouldn't say that he really is. But really, it's entirely possible that he could be better than some pros who regularly go to MLG. But at the same time, I wouldn't put all my money on it. He did manage to just now take down that hatchery, and he's going with a bit of a 1-1-1-ish style follow-up / what do you call that? Triple orbital command opener. And that's actually good for the late game because it's going to help him make sure he's got mules to supplement the planetary fortresses he has. Now, the only danger I can see him encountering in the future is actually losing his third orbital command, but speaking of losses, DeeMo did manage to pick off a drone in there. In the words of Idra, it's something that's not really supposed to happen, but maybe it's bad to quote him. That was just basically something that he said at the Asus ROG over the weekend. We have a Viking popping out now for DeeMo, so he's going to get some pretty quick vengeance on the economic damage that he suffered earlier. And he's going for a bio transition. We know it's bio for sure because he's going for double engineering bay. And of course, there's nothing an engineering bay can really do to help mech units other than perhaps, say, Raven's Spitfire turrets, and that's about it. He is going for a Banshee, though. That's what I thought was interesting. I didn't notice the tech lab just a minute ago, researching Cloak or getting switched out with anything else there, but yeah. DeeMo's definitely taking advantage of that new Banshee buff. And so far, we kind of have the making of a standard macro game. From our Zerg, we have +1 melee and +1 Carapace on the way, which means he's got the intention of ending the game to some extent with Ultras. And he's actually concentrating on getting a very early 4th, because he's just solely concentrated on knocking away those rocks. He's got a Queen that's getting shooed away by some of these Hellions. Creep Tumors don't get a chance to finish on the top of that little plateau, if you will. And now we have DeeMo just breaking away, trying to control the middle of the map. But wait, it looks like these Lings could get a total surround. Almost, but no cigar. And the Banshee's coming into the mix as well to kind of help out the Lings here. Did I just say DeeMo could have gotten a full surround? I meant to say that Kreayshawn could have gotten a full surround on DeeMo. Viking now has 2 kills. 3rd just now getting established for our Zerg. And when is he going to take that 4th? Or is he going to? Those rocks, red health. But he realizes he's got some pressure that he's facing. He's also supply blocked. Might have been a bit of a mistake. I can't tell myself how many times on the ladder I've actually thought that. Ooh, drone barbecue. Okay, well, I can't tell you guys how many times on the ladder I thought I've actually made overlords when I never actually did, but there was a Viking there with 2 kills. I only saw it get a kill over at the natural of DeeMo's base, so it's entirely possible it could have picked off another overlord at another point. Speaking of pickoffs, this Banshee gets away with about 5 kills, bringing the workers killed total to 5. There was 2 or 3 earlier that died to Hellions, and speaking of, these guys are doing a good job of fending themselves off against their surround, or yeah, the surround that Kreayshawn is actually inflicting on them, and this is, ouch, just a little bit deserving of pity from DeeMo. He loses his Banshee, a little bit of an expensive unit, but it does so much in the way of forcing units from Kreayshawn instead of allowing him to drone up as he would please. This is perfect because DeeMo actually has triple orbital command, and this allows him to macro up just a little bit more, and speaking of, he's adding on the infrastructure right now, floating a little bit in the way of minerals. I wonder, has he started 1-1? Actually, it's finished now, my mistake. It looks like we have a huge stream of Lings just coming up in this direction, but our Viking staying proactive all throughout the game, almost had a chance to kill another Overlord, but he didn't quite see it there. Centrifugal Hook's now on the way for Kreayshawn, so he needs to get that Ling speed up. It's really going to help with the engagements that are, or excuse me, that Baneling speed up. That's really going to help with engagements off of creep. When Marines stim and run away, then basically, you know, you're kind of in tough luck as a Zerg player. But what would really seal the deal is if we were to see an infestation pit instead of a spire. But basically, this kind of style would be indicative of, say, Kreayshawn kind of spreading out his 3 base tech, if you will, getting a 4th as well, maybe a 5th or a 6th before finally getting Hive is typically what we see. These Banshees, there's 2 of them, but they're clearing away creep tumors. Once those mutas pop, though, the Banshees are going to be in a really, really bad position, but it looks like we have Kreayshawn just opting for map control right now, or reasserting his territory on the map. He's like, hey, that's creep. That's Zerg territory. You do not F with that. And we have a cloak, and ooh, looks like maybe some snipes coming down for DeeMo. He's gonna have just a few, what's the word I'm looking for? Hellions coming back, and Kreayshawn just says yes. I'm not sure what that's all about. I don't get it. I guess a stream sniper or something like that. He just randomly says yes. Might be in response to what to something that DeeMo might have said on his stream or something like that. He does actually have a stream, so yeah. Speaking of, DeeMo's just going to go and break away some rocks here. And that makes a full wall off, so he's secured and good to go until about the 18-minute mark when he's got to worry about establishing a 4th base. And Kreayshawn, our Zerg, just now getting his econ up. He's actually drastically far behind if you check the overall supply right now. 103 to 137. Army supply is even drastically lower. You know, there's 1 or 2 things he can do to pull himself back into this immediately and get some damage done to his opponent. One of the routes would actually be Baneling landmines versus Burrow and just getting those absolutely money Baneling landmines, if you will. I've seen a game that I was losing get turned completely around because of Burrow Baneling landmines, and that was against a Platinum League player on the Korean ladder. Ooh, nice surround here by Kreayshawn. Gonna bring himself back just a teeny bit in this. But, you know, those Baneling landmines, I used 4 Banelings to kill about 30 Marines because an early offensive I had tried in the game actually failed. I was just thinking to myself, well, I got Banelings, may as well try and make the best of them, so I just got Burrow. So, I mean, that's just one way, it's just one contextual way that, you know, excellent connections, excellent engagements can actually get you a huge lead. And right now, that's definitively what Kreayshawn needs if he wants to bring himself back in this game. But DeeMo is going to be dropping the 5th base, which is actually, I guess you could say, the pocket 4th here. And it looks like DeeMo's in a bit of trouble at his natural. Looks like this 4th base, ooh, didn't quite get canceled, but it was in a lot of danger, taking lots of damage, and it looks like Kreayshawn has full vision of this drop that's coming his way. I don't know if he's got what it takes to hold it, though. We're going to see the Infestation Pit fall, and will DeeMo pick this up and get out? I don't know. If he gets all the mutas, he can. Certainly can. It's like, she's 65. I'm like, what? Or actually, like, 70. I'm not sure what that's all about. Well, it's an interesting game to say the very least with the direction it's gone. DeeMo lost everything that he had dropped with there, but I'd say that's not nearly as big as Kreayshawn really losing his Infestation Pit. Whether or not he actually has intentions of using it is a completely different question. However, as he didn't start Pathogen Glance to the best of my knowledge, and he did actually get started on Hive Tech with it. 2-2 for both players, but 3-3 got started just a little bit faster for DeeMo, who's now shaving away the Mutalisk numbers of his opponent. Banelings on the way. They do, of course, have their speed upgrade, and if they're on creep with that speed upgrade, that's really going to help Kreayshawn a lot with an engagement, but he's still at a bit of a 20 supply deficit. He's banking money for something, I just can't tell what it is. Scan's just barely missing on this huge flock of mutas, but they don't want to fly in from behind because, of course, there's all these Baneling there's all these Widow Mines right here, excuse me, and they're burrowed in just the right position. If that entire flock comes in from the north, he's dead. He is dead. And he's a little hesitant to engage, really, he is. Small chunk of Marines goes up here to poke away, and it looks like the mutas will be able to deal with this more than adequately. Another huge chunk of Marines going in, but I think if the mutas engage us head on, it's not going to be too good. There are some links coming in to reinforce. Now a bit of a, wow, nice engagement with the Banelings, amazingly missing almost all the Widow Mines until just this now point when I mentioned it in the game. And it looks like we're going to have all those Widow Mines fall. DeeMo's losing a lot in the way of resources right now. The supplies are about even. And just with that one engagement, we see this game kind of turned upside down on lNrGl's DeeMo. Wow. Okay, well, here we go. Mutas chasing down the bio ball. There are a couple of burrowed Widow Mines. They get all the lings on the ground and 1 or 2 mutas. Checking the income situation right now, Kreayshawn is actually further in the lead. This creep spread is absolutely amazing, to say the very least, and we also have +3/+3 on the way for Zerg now, but it's going to be so much further behind for Kreayshawn. He's banking money right now because he's trying to get those ultras out on the field, and if we check and see what he's got right now, I think he's got enough resources for about 4 or 5 of them. But just as I say that, he spends a lot of money on Zerglings. It's alright, though, because he's going to have a short window of opportunity where he can just, you know, throw larva away. Not really larva so much, but definitely throw minerals away, get minerals back up, and then throw minerals away on ultras. It looks like we got 4 on the way just as the 4th base is being dropped. Yes, I know it's the 4th for a fact because I actually counted it correctly. Widow Mine connects with some drones there, bringing the total count to 71 for our Terran, 81 for our Zerg, and there's another drop going down in the upper right-ish base. It looks like some SCVs are now being thrown away. That means DeeMo, researching his vehicle and ship plating level 1, is going to try and switch things up into a bit of a Sky Terran build, if you will. Eventually. That won't be right now, but that's definitely what he's aiming for in the late game. Widowmine here has not been spotted yet, and I think it's going to end up connecting with these drones. Yes, gets 3 of them. And now Kreayshawn's just like, okay, gotta take care of whatever's there. And he's like, fine, whatever, Spore Crawler detection. I need it anyway. And Scan's now going down for DeeMo, trying to locate his opponent's army. He sees Ultras in the mix, and he's got an appropriate number of Marauders to actually deal with this. I wouldn't say entirely appropriate, but he does have a sizable number of them. Marauders good for 2 things here. That's dealing with the Banelings and the Ultras. Widowmines are actually clumped up right now. And it looks like Kreayshawn, his supply is kind of lasting for the time being, but those Marauders are still left over. 2 or 3 of them, 4 of them, 6 of them now rallying out from the natural. And it looks like they're going to be able to deal with this for the most part. Oh man, and the Overseers are falling behind all of this. String of reinforcement lings coming in, and there's not enough Marines right next to the Marauders to actually deal with it adequately. But speaking of, we have them stimming up. They're okay now. Leftovers actually get inside the medevac, and it looks like the numbers are actually strongly in favor of Kreayshawn right now. Look at this. He's actually getting an okay engagement, and I don't know. It's kind of a tug-of-war that's going back and forth. It's a little difficult to tell at this point. Behind this, we have more Mutas and Ultras on the way, and that's what's really going to make some beef for the punch, if you will. But altogether, I think we have just, you know, the question of secure income to deal with. Marauders coming in, dealing with the Lings in small numbers, but of course, if we're talking 200 Lings versus 200 Ultras, well, or excuse me, 200 Marauders, then the 200 Lings basically went out because they have higher DPS. Typically, I imagine. I don't know. That's kind of a strange question because it's like watching a cripple fight. It's like, who wins that? Ask Jimmy and Timmy from South Park, why don't we? Mutas, Ultras coming in, and there's no anti-air here aside from this little handful of Marines. But now the Ultras catching up to the party will be able to scare away the... Excuse me, the Marauders catching up to the party are going to scare away the Ultras. Yes, concussive shells does slow things down, but not Ultras, guys. So DeeMo's doing a smart thing by not actually making that research. Oh boy. Yes, I did just try. I didn't really try to sneeze. I was forced to, but yeah. Income situation now. I'd say is slightly in favor of Kreayshawn if we simply examine it now, and he's realized, okay, I've got to get something into the mix that really contributes to the AoE, and Banelings combined with infested fungal growths will actually do a good deal of damage at this stage in the game. Believe it or not, I mean, sure, there's a lot of Widowmines here. They can detonate on clusters of Banelings, but still. There's a lot of Marines, there's a lot of Marauders, and combining that AoE into one huge ball will help. But the question is, will they get out on the field in time? I don't think so. Kreayshawn forced to basically try and remax on Ultras while the Banelings and Mutas are a little hesitant to engage, and that's actually forsaking the drone line. Here we go, a few Banelings are rolling forward to deal with the Marines, and the Ultras make it to the party, but it looks like they're not quite going to be able to raffle stomp their way through this. Widowmines burrowed in back are dealing with everything in front adequately. Queen's coming in to transfuse whatever Ultras they can, but it looks like all the Ultras have now fallen. One of them did just spawn, and that was just a perfect window of opportunity that I think we needed to see from DeeMo to actually punch in through that. I mean, that was just, it was so close. I mean, think if that one Ultra had just popped and the Queens had something to spend their transfuses on without being targeted down by all those Marines and Marauders. Alright guys, this is Breaker. If you guys liked what you saw here today, just go ahead and click on the subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time.